Welcome to the Digital Pitt Boss, baby. I got a live and I got a hot one for you. Y'all know how I tell you how to stem get it in, how to stem make a grin, how to make your head spin, how to turn a broke nigga into rich nigga grin. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all get ready, as I get ready to give you this business, baby. Let's start it off with a little bit of old school. Keep on with the false stars. Don't stop taking it. Keep on with the false stars. Don't stop taking it. I'ma save on my time, on my ghost. 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 So tonight, gonna leave it, gotta fly, I'm gonna share. And just enjoy yourself. Come on and groove, girl. Let's sing the music, get together. Life ain't so bad at all. Leave it off the wall. Leave your life off the wall. Leave it off the wall. Where did you come from, lady? And won't you take me there right away? Won't you, baby? Take the road that you got to be. Spark my name to sugar fly with me. Don't you know now is the perfect time? We can dim the lights just to get it right. In the night, if the love is fine, let me take you to the max. I want to love you. You get some loving to the loving care, and I'll take you there, and all I got to say is that I must be dreaming. You can't be real. You're not here with me. Still, I can feel you near me. Oh, baby, how caress you, let you taste us, let the place for listen. I could give you anything, babe. Just make my dreams come true. I just want to touch and kiss, and I wish I could be with you tonight. You give me butterflies inside, and I looking in my mirror took me by surprise. I can't help but see you running off into my mind, helpless like a baby. Heaven is the prize, and I'm so glad I found you, girl. You're an angel in disguise. I can't help it if I wanted to, whatever. Even if I could, I can't help it if I wanted to, whatever. Now I can't help it if I wanted to, when you think, even if I could, can't help it if I wanted to, whenever. No. And y'all know what it is. It's your boy, What Up Living, Soul Journey, Blaqink. What you think? You know how I do it around here. I got some great information rocking on the nation. Y'all know how I get it. Back in live in action, man. See, I've been kicking this stem in the conscious community, getting hated on by some players waited on. I just shook by them as I let the day go on. You know what I'm talking about, right? They didn't want to hear this shit. They want to talk about Egypt. Boy, I'm in the game. I did 5 miles, flexing like I'm texting, flexing while I'm texting. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Getting it in where I should have been. So, here's how it worked. Let me drop a hot clippy clip on ya. This is from Democracy Now! Since y'all don't know about then, let me show you about now. Let's take you to the...
Hi, my name's Taylor Richardson and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm 13 years old and I'm not just a black girl who's interested in STEM, but I'm a black girl who rocks STEM. I will be an engineer, a scientist, and an astronaut, and will eventually go to Mars. I'm marching because I want all girls, especially girls of color, to know that they can be a part of STEM and even be leaders in STEM. But like Muhammad Ali said, you better get used to me. Yes, you better get used to us girls and women because we're not going anywhere. Science is not a boys' game. It is not a girls' game. It's an everyone's game. I want girls to know we can educate each other and advocate for legislation to support science and engage others in our community. I stand here on the shoulders of giants. Mathematician Katherine Johnson, who helped us go to the moon. Rocket scientist Annie Easley. Dr. Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space. And won't be the last. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't help this if I wanted to. I couldn't help it if I wanted to. I couldn't help it if I wanted to. Take that with your bitch ass motherfucking paradigms out there. Y'all don't know nothing about it, do you? Y'all don't know nothing about it, do you? Boy, I got to go in. Let y'all understand how important that moment was. A young black girl. Somebody put her up on that stem. She going to the moon. All them goddamn flat earthers out there still studying the goddamn skulls. You should have got your goddamn kid in some STEM. You wouldn't be standing around waiting on welfare. You be yelling out farewell to all you liberal art junkies. You're non-educated monkeys. You know how we do it. So I just wanted to pop in a little bit, share the experience of the information growing constantly. As soon as you realize what the hell Pitt boss talking about, you're going to bow down. You might as well bow down. You can't compete. There's Booker T up in this thing, breaking in the doors. So I'm going to let my brother Blaqink come on and hit y'all with an uppercut. Show y'all a little something about what he think. But we taking over time. It's just a matter of time. Got to change the whole goddamn construct of these knuckle brains in the conscious community. Talking that yin yang. Want to hold up a Dr. Clark book. She ain't up there talking about Dr. Ben. Don't make me start. Break your whole goddamn shit apart. Y'all ain't gonna never put up nobody. pushing your paradigm on the world stage. Never. It won't happen. Your shit stink. Smell like roses. Doo-doo. You know what I'm talking about. It's all good though. We're gonna hit you hard and heavy. Now while you're in the room, go ahead and hit that goddamn $sign and let it shine. We're gonna get the stem on the grind, baby. We're gonna keep it popping. They can't stop it. We got Flippy in the room, surfing in the room. Y'all know what we doing. Repent and rise in the room. Y'all just know how we gonna do it. Man, this shit is going down. I can't believe how cold the game is. If you could only understand what I've been talking about, you wouldn't even wait all day. You wouldn't even wait all day. You been got your business on. You been got your business on. Trying to tell you why you playing. You might as well come on and join the game. It don't take that long to make a change. Go and get the business in where you need to get it in. What you need to do is figure out how to set you up a business to apply for some STEM program money. It ain't that hard. They got grants out there for you. Y'all letting this conscious community shift y'all into Neverland. All y'all talking about, I hate the Bible. The Bible put you in slavery. Dummy. Did she look like she was in slavery? Stupid. Or does y'all look like y'all in slavery? Y'all the ones fussing over foolishness forever, forgetting that faggots finally figure for flipping. I can't do it today. I've been running, getting it on, getting it in where I fit in. But it's all good. It's all good. I just want y'all to understand that the stem is that cold that you can't go to the moon without the stem. You can't calculate the trajectory of an astronaut spaceship without the stem. It's the real deal. It's the real deal. I can go all day cracking y'all in the head, and y'all still won't get it. I know y'all not ready for it. So let's see if I can show you how it works in math, right? Because y'all really just, don't understand the game. What I got. See, if y'all don't get it, y'all gonna get left by for another 20 years. Really though. I'm gonna keep pushing it for a quick minute before I let it all go. And then I ain't got time to play with you no more, because your ego moving slow. Now, okay, find what I'm looking for. All right, I'm done with that. Blaqink, what you think? Oh shit. Oh shit. Let me put it out here. Goddamn Blaqink. He running around with a bullshit Facebook. Facebook criminal. All right. Flippy, Flippy was in the room with me, watching me work the magic from behind this Blaqink in Facebook jail. We're gonna get him out of there. I just got released from YouTube jail. Oh shit. Blaqink, what
Bruh. Bruh, they tried to throw the virtual bars around me, man.
What?
They wanted me to go through. They wanted me to go through all sorts of changes on Facebook and do all sorts of filters and shit just to update the Google Hangouts, player.
Oh, really though?
Yeah, you're right. I got to toss this old dumbass phone and get a real smart one now.
Oh yeah, the smarter your phone, the bigger your dollars will get to coming on.
Right. But man, I just wanted to jump on and appreciate and show love for that little drop you did. Black girl rocking STEM mission to the moon. Blast off on him.
Well, you know, I got to give you a whole lot of credit, brother. You know, you did kind of alert me to the news. So I want to give you some credit for keeping your eyes penetrated on the prize.
Hey, man, it's a lot bigger than the conscious community could ever imagine. You had young people out there, old people out there, all types of people out there cheering for the young sister. And it didn't have no color on it, but she said, I'm a black girl that rocks STEM.
Man, they not knowing, brother. It's like I hit them with it with a low blow, connected it to the Bible. So for the conscious community, it was a no-go. Well, when you show shit like that, Blaqink, tell me, man, when you show shit like that, what else could it make one of these women or men in the conscious community, children, think?
The haters are gonna curl up their lips and look at you sideways with a cracked face, but the rest of them gonna be like, See, if Pitt Boss said y'all niggas think he crazy, but if a little 13-year-old black girl said in front of the thousands and the millions, it must be the truth.
She dropped it too. She said she going to the moon. She started dropping names from hidden figures. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Well, if you allow me to, brother, I'm going to drop a name that was the hidden figure until you unrevealed him and turn it loose back to the real world today. Let's take it back where it started. I want to dumb these niggas down and raise their elevation of their mentals up.
Man, drop that heat on them.
Well, from today's reading, we're going to have a book called Up From Slavery, written by Booker T. Washington. It's about a 156-page book, easy read. Any person who enjoys literature can read it in 1 or 2 days. And we're going to take from chapter 10. A harder task than making bricks without straw. From the beginning at Tuskegee, I was determined to have the students do not only the traditional agriculture and domestic work, but to have them erect their own buildings. My plan was to have them, while performing this service, taught the latest and best methods of labor, or that the school would not only get the benefit of their efforts, but the students themselves would be taught to see not only utility in labor, but beauty and dignity would be taught. In fact, how to lift labor up from mere drudgery and toil, and would learn to love work for its own sake. My plan was not to teach them to work in the old way, but to show them how to make the forces of nature, air, water, steam, electricity, horsepower, assist them in their labor. Little side note, that sounds pretty scientific to me, black man.
Hey, brother. Okay. Keep going. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I told those who doubted the wisdom of the plan that I knew our first buildings would not be so comfortable or so complete in their finish as buildings erected by the experienced hands of outside workmen, but that in the teaching of civilization, self-help, and self-reliance, the erection of the buildings by the students themselves would more than compensate for any lack of comfort or fine finish. That the majority of our students came to us in poverty from the cabins of the cotton, sugar, and rice plantations of the South, and that while I knew it would please the students very much to place them at once in finely constructed buildings, I felt that it would be following out a more natural process of development to teach them how to construct their own buildings. Mistakes I knew would be made, but these mistakes would teach us valuable lessons for the future. During the now 19 years existence of the Tuskegee School, the plan of having the buildings erected by student labor has been adhered to. In this time, 40 buildings, counting small and large, have been built, and all except 4 are almost wholly the product of student labor. As an additional result, hundreds of men are now scattered throughout the South who receive their knowledge of mechanics while being taught how to erect these buildings. Skill and knowledge are now handed down from one set of students to another in this way, until at the present time a building of any description or size can be constructed wholly by our instructors and students, from the drawing of the plans to the putting in of the electric fixtures without going off the grounds for a single workman. Now I'm going to stop right there and get a breather. Pitt, please elaborate on that topic.
Before hidden colors, hidden figures, before Amos Wilson, before Dr. Clark, before Dr. Ben, before Noble Drew Ali, before Elijah Muhammad, before Garvey, before WEB, before all them, there was Booker T. Washington building bricks out of red clay mud in Tuskegee, Alabama. Tuskegee, Alabama, and the whole South is considered the Black Belt. That's not in reference to the color of the people living there. That's in reference to the color of the earth, where the ground is fertile, where the crocodile skin, the owl, and the setting sun make up Kemet in America. What you know about that? Let me hit you with the brick of knowledge. One more again, I'm going to run back the young black girl who rocked that shit, so y'all can fully understand this is not a game.
Hi, my name's Taylor Richardson, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm 13 years old, and I'm not just a black girl who's interested in STEM, but I'm a black girl who rocks STEM. I will be an engineer, a scientist, and an astronaut, and will eventually go to Mars. I'm marching because I want all girls, especially girls of color, to know that they can be a part of STEM and even be leaders in STEM. But like Muhammad Ali said, you better get used to me. Yes, you better get used to us girls and women, because we're not going anywhere. Science is not a boys' game. It is not a girls' game. It's an everyone's game. I want girls to know we can educate each other and advocate for legislation to support science and engage others in our community. I stand here on the shoulders of giants. Mathematician Katherine Johnson, who helped us go to the moon. Rocket scientist Annie Easley, Dr. Mae Jemison, the first African-American woman in space. And won't be the last. Thank you.
Boom, boom, bip. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we do it. This is how it goes down. If you only can get yourself found where the real is, y'all can understand. How many of y'all seen Hidden Figures? If you haven't seen it, go to the network where they make it sweat work and check out the movie. I could drop a link if you ain't got the goddamn link. Just drop a 1 if you need the link to go see Hidden Figures. Drop a 1 in the chat room and make that pop for you. If you're that late and you've been wasting your time watching Netta TV. What up with you, Black? I see you the Fire Pit boss rocking.
Yeah, see, we got to keep it going from where we leave off. Previous show, I was demonstrating how, from reading that book by Booker T, it inspired my nephews to come help their uncle build this fire pit out of some hard earth. That earth down there is pretty solid. We keep wetting it and digging a little deeper, but then the neighbor came over and saw what we were doing and donated these bricks to put up as a wall to say, okay, just dig a little deeper, but erect a brick wall so that you could insulate your fire pit. Now, I'm doing that to show people out there how you have to start in your own backyard, so to speak, with some hard labor. It's not fun, but it's becoming a labor of love because you get to see the actual results from sweat equity. Now, let me turn this off, and I'm going to go back in and read some more about Booker T, what inspired this brick fire pit.
Man, we just gonna keep shoving it at them. I know they hating on the game. They wish Pitt boss a dip, but I'm gonna get the ranch dip and with the chips. Yes, sir. I'm on it.
All right. So, again, to take things to the foundation and the very essence of starting from scratch, let me read what Booker T said about labor itself and building an industry from that labor. Okay, so again, from chapter 10, he starts up again and he says, in the early days of the school, I think my most trying experience was in the matter of brick making. As soon as we got the farm work reasonably well started, we directed our next efforts towards the industry of making bricks. We needed these for use in connection with the erection of our own buildings. But there was also another reason for establishing this industry. There was no brickyard in the town. And in addition to our own needs, there was a demand for bricks in the general market. I had always sympathized with the children of Israel in their task of making bricks without straw. But ours was the task of making bricks with no money and no experience. In the first place, the work was hard and dirty, and it was difficult to get the students to help. When it came to brick making, their distaste for manual labor in connection with book education became especially manifest. It was not a pleasant task for one to stand in the mud pit for hours with the mud up to his knees. Sounds like a dirty job. More than one man became disgusted and left the school. We tried several locations before we opened up a pit that furnished brick clay. I had always supposed that brick making was very simple, but I soon found out by bitter experience that it required special skill and knowledge, particularly in the burning of the bricks. A deal of effort, we molded about 25,000 bricks and put them into a kiln to be burned. This kiln turned out to be a failure because it was not properly constructed or properly burned. We began at once, however, on a second kiln. This, for some reason, also proved a failure. The failure of this kiln made it still more difficult to get the students to take part in any of the work. Several of the teachers, however, who had been trained in the industries at Hampton volunteered their services, and in some way we succeeded in getting the third kiln ready for burning. The burning of a kiln required about a week. Toward the latter part of the week, when it seemed as if we were going to have a good many thousand bricks in a few hours, in the middle of the night, the kiln fell. For the third time, we had failed. The failure of this last kiln left me without a single dollar with which to make another experiment. Most of the teachers advised the abandoning of the effort to make bricks. In the midst of my troubles, I thought of a watch which had come into my possession years before. I took this watch to the city of Montgomery, which was not far distant, and placed it in a pawn shop. I secured cash upon it to the amount of $15 with which to renew the brick-making experiment. I returned to Tuskegee, and with the help of the $15, rallied our rather demoralized and discouraged forces and began a fourth attempt to make bricks. This time, I'm glad to say, we were successful. Brick making has now become such an important industry at the school that last season our students manufactured 1,200,000 of first-class bricks of a quality suitable to be sold in any market. Aside from this, scores of young men have mastered the brick making trade, both the making of bricks by hand and by machinery, and are now engaged in this industry in many parts of the South. The making of these bricks taught me an important lesson in regard to the relations of the two races in the South. Many white people who had no contact with the school and perhaps no sympathy with it came to us to buy bricks because they found out that ours were good bricks. They discovered that we were supplying a real want in the community. The making of these bricks caused many of the white residents of the neighborhood to begin to feel that the education of the Negro was not making him worthless, but that in educating our students, we were adding something to the wealth and comfort of the community. As the people of the neighborhood came to us to buy bricks, we got acquainted with them. They traded with us and we with them. Our business interests became intermingled. We had something which they wanted. They had something which we wanted. This, in a large measure, helped to lay the foundation for the pleasant relations that have continued to exist between us and the white people in that section and which now extend throughout the South. Wherever one of our brick makers has gone in the South, we find that he has something to contribute to the well-being of the community into which he has gone, something that has made the community feel that, in a degree, it is indebted to him, and perhaps to a certain extent dependent upon him. In this way, pleasant relations between the races have been stimulated. My experience is that there is something in human nature which always makes an individual recognize and reward merit. No matter under what color of skin merit is found, I have found too that it is the visible, the tangible, that goes a long ways in softening prejudices. The actual sight of a first-class house that a Negro has built is 10 times more potent than pages of discussion about a house that he ought to build or perhaps could build. And how about that? Hit him with a brick.
You went in. So for that,
Let's
brother,
talk.
I'm gonna give you a little motivation to add to the motivation you're already bringing. I know they've been getting the drill with the Booker T. Now I need them to understand this.
So this old man crazy. He's making money, but he crazy. Said, come on out a little further. Came out a little further. Was right in his mouth. My man, like, I'm about to go back in here. This guy is mine. So the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. He said, I do. He said, walk a little further. He came, dropped his head in, held him down, hold him down. My man didn't scratch it, hold him down. I got you. I know you brushed it out, but I got you. He had him held down. I need you for an illustration. He had him held down just before my man was about to pass out. He raised him up. He said, I got a question for you. Somebody asked me a question for me. He said, when you were underwater, what did you want to do? Lee, I'm looking for a different word, brother. What's that word? So I wanted to breathe. He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you're trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful, as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep.
Boom, you give up sleep. Now,
the freedom we look for is the freedom to be ourselves without laws and regret. If you look at your life, most of what you do is just to please others. Most of what you do is just for acknowledgement and attention. Somehow this is what freedom has become. But we are not free. We feel freedom. We see freedom. We live in freedom. Our freedom is as close as the air that we breathe, yet we seem to never catch our breath. Be impeccable with your word. Always say what you mean and mean what you say. Don't take anything personally. Anything that someone may do to you is only a projection of themselves. Don't make assumptions. Always have the courage to ask for clarity. Best. Under any and every circumstance, always do your best.
I bet you don't know who that is, Blaqink.
That would be the great Negroologist herself with the beautiful warm voice.
Man, she representing. She say the CRT team make work. Teamwork make the dream work.
And the more we network, the less we sweat work.
Woo.
But a lot of people don't even want to do the work. And that's why I emphasize the lesson of the fire pit with the bricks and Booker T teaching himself and all his faculty and students how to make bricks and then creating their own industry that clearly he showed. He taught people not only to be brick makers, but also businessmen and people who made houses all over the South and the Eastern Seaboard out those bricks. But you got to start. He said it wasn't easy. They did it, 4 times before they got it right. Anybody else would have probably gave up. But his determination and persistence and stick-to-itiveness eventually paid off in dividends 10,000-fold. And that's the lesson. See, that girl at 13 years old clearly has a focus. She's diligent in her work, and she's striving towards something that people thought were impossible. But she's a lot closer to it at 13 years old than a lot of us in the conscious community in our 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s could ever be, because we don't want to do the work. Just want to sit up and bicker and troll and commentate on everybody else's work that they're putting up, but don't have nothing else to show for it to match it and say, well, try it this way.
Man, well, I want to give a big shout out to Heart and Truth 45, jumping in the game with the CRTs, the calculated risk takers, still in the game. We done grind through the year. All year we've been grinding. We done went from soap making to brick land and everything in between. We over here building it. We got gardens popping. We got scientific methods underway. I'm telling y'all, this is not just your regular YouTube channel. We got the CEO of Chronic Magazine, the analog going digital. Y'all think we playing just because we, come on here and joke a little bit, mix up a couple words with our verbs, take our nouns, make them pound to their adjectives. It's all good. We got everything to give. But what we trying to do is imprint in your brain that the STEM was the answer, is the answer, and shall always be the answer to the disaster that has neutralized you. You neutralized from not having economic control. Only way to get control is get you some change in your pocket. I'm trying to tell you, this shit ain't easy to do. I appreciate the donations. Y'all making me get ready to head up in my books and pull out the game and go hard. Side Netter, are you listening? You can show us Kemet for the next 1,000 years. You can beg to differ on the history of the African American in this land. But I'm going to go in. I'm going to have to go in. I'm going to have to show them goddamn hell up in Harlem, the history. You ready for that show? Blaqink, I'm on Harlem. We're going to have to run through the goddamn spin guard list. I heard a nigga yelling out Paul Robinson like that was somebody I need to stack up high for setting me off in the overdrive. What you think, bro?
Oh, that brother was on the spin guard list. I got him right here. Here I stand. I got all the info on Brother Paul. They ran him through a cheese grater, man. because, you know, he took certain stances and then they found little shit to pin on him, like that little red button, and he was done. You know, world famous communist. Done, one and done. Took his passport and everything.
Man,
It's a cold game out here.
can you give us a little background? Because see, I haven't went super deep, but they done seen the integrationist power channels go in a little bit on their favorite integrationists. I don't think they understand. I think they think we talking about the brother like he didn't actually try and help black folks in the direction of integration, that was the way to build a nation. But what's the real scoop in?
Okay, here's the drop on Brother Paul. He was a very intelligent cat from the East Coast, New Jersey, I believe. And he was he graduated, you know, top of his class in college, I believe Rutgers University. He had a law degree. But the problem was at the time in the early 1900s, 19 teens, is that they wasn't letting black people go in front of the board. He couldn't represent nobody in such ways that he could prosper. So he became an entertainer, known most famously for his deep baritone voice. And in the entertainment field, you know, he had some dignified roles like going to England and playing Othello in blackface. But he mostly played like, you know, bucks in the Hollywood scene, where he was either like a African chief who would get conquered and then, you know, colonialized, or he played the big buck slave who just sat there and sang darky plantation songs. Now, on the other side of things, he was fiercely involved in politics and workers' movements. And this is where he kind of went left, literally and figuratively. He was known to be affiliated with the socialists and the communists at a time when, you know, before World War II, it wasn't no big deal. But after World War II with the Cold War, it became a huge deal. And then he tried to run for vice president under the Progressive Party with a dude named Henry Wallace in 1948. At that point, he started speaking out for full citizenship, equal representation by law in the heat of Jim Crow. So what happened was people found out of his communist leanings. They started having protests. They started like getting really violent at his concerts and his rallies. And he pretty much said, you know, workers of the world unite, blacks and whites get together. And a lot of white people was riding with him. And then the government.
What was some of the organizations that he supported?
He supported the Communist Party. He supported the Socialist Workers of the World. I mean, I don't know the exact names, but all those big dog groups at the time, he was riding with them and they were riding with him. The labor movement, which was also very left-leaning back then, meaning socialist influenced, etc. It was a time when they called them fronts. They had different fronts, front organizations that were being backed or funded by the communists and the socialists. And when it became taboo, they basically called him in the same hearings, House Un-American Activity Committees, that busted the Hollywood 10, and they busted him down. And then afterwards, in the 50s, they stripped him of his right to leave the country, took his passport, and barred him from performing anywhere in the United States. So they effectively shut him down and ended up driving him crazy. It's a tragedy, you know what I'm saying? But in a lot of ways, you know, it's kind of like we become our own undoing. And he went left, and so he got for that. More than just being a black man, but being a black man with the communist leaning and the socialist mentality that wasn't working for Cold War capitalist America. It still don't work today. That's just my opinion.
My gosh, who else you got on that list, brother?
Well, we had Brother Ralph Bunche on the list, and we quoted him the other day, The Worldview and Race. Of course, you got W.D. Du Bois. You got folks like Jackie Robinson. Bill Cosby's on the list. Rosa Parks, Sidney Poitier, Martin Luther King. Who else? Paul R. Williams, the great architect who did a lot of buildings in LA people don't even know, like the Shrine Auditorium. He did that. Chasen's restaurant, Perino's restaurant. He did Homes for the Stars in Hollywood, but he couldn't live in none of them. It's a shame.
Hey,
Same.
what's the brother who runs the group over there where they don't want the gays? What's that? Straight Lives Matter or something like that?
You talking about Gene Man?
What's the name of the group?
I don't know. Are you talking about somebody in the conscious community?
In the conscious community, he has a Black Pride, Straight Pride.
I think that's the Irritated Genie.
Yeah, I just seen him do a presentation that damn near duplicated your narrative on the various coons in Hollywood. It was pretty interesting. He used a lot of information that you had presented in that. I meant to get that over there to you. Let you check that out. See if he did a good job with your work. We getting popular out here, man. Our information is spreading like wildfire.
Yeah, we got to do another Hollywood special, man, because people don't realize that shit immediately we couldn't air it because of some other copyright stuff. But I believe the information was so powerful that once it got out there from our perspective, it would just spun out of rotation.
Most definitely, brother. I'm over in my great book of hit rocks over here, man. I'm trying to find some information I can add to what you kicked in about Paul Robeson. And since I'm trying to pull it up on the fly, I can't find it.
I'll tell you what, you could pull up the audio off of YouTube. Paul Robeson, Paul Robeson HUAC hearings, and he could speak in his own voice, and the people could get the gist of what he was defending in the face of losing everything. See, it went beyond the issue of black and white. It went to the ideology and belief system versus the American capitalist system. So if you could pull that up.
Paul Robeson, what?
HUAC hearings. HUAC stands for House Un-American Activity Committee, so it would be all caps.
Okay, I got that. Now the clip is about 11 minutes long.
You could stop it at any point, but he's gonna really drive it home about like trying to say, show the hypocrisy of the rights of a citizen versus your right to privacy versus where you stand as far as this country goes when it comes to ideology. And remember, this is the same committee that blacklisted the Hollywood 10. So it wasn't, they were going after anybody who they thought was a communist at the time. So that's the setup for the clip.
Okay, well, let's let a little bit of it play, see what he got to say. And it's on a Marxist socialist channel.
Well, I'm not making this up.
Do I have the privilege of asking who's addressing me? I'm Richard Ahrens. What is your position? I'm director of the staff. Did you file a passport application in July 2, 1954? I filed about 25 in the last few months. In July of 1954, were you requested to submit a non-communist affidavit? Under no conditions would I think of signing such an affidavit. It is a contradiction of the rights of American citizens. Are you now a member of the Communist Party? Oh, please, please, please.
Please answer, will you, Mr. Robeson?
What is the Communist Party? What do you mean by that?
Are you now a member of the Communist Party?
Would you like to come to the ballot box when I vote and take out the ballot and see?
Mr. Chairman, I respectfully suggest the witness be directed to answer the question. You are directed to answer the question.
I invoke the Fifth Amendment and forget it.
I respectfully suggest the witness be directed to answer the question whether, if he gave us a truthful answer, he would be supplying information which might be used against him in a criminal proceeding. You are directed to answer, Mr. Robeson.
In the first place, wherever I've been in the world, the first to die in the struggle against fascism were the communists. I laid many wreaths upon the graves of communists. That is not criminal. That the Fifth Amendment does not have anything to do with the influence of criminality. And I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Have you ever been known under the name of John
Oh,
Thomas?
please, does somebody here want me to put up for perjury someplace? John Thomas, my name is Paul Robeson, and anything I have to say, I have said in public all over the world, and that is why I'm here today.
Mr. Chairman, I ask that you direct the witness to my question he's making. I ask you to affirm or deny the fact that you're communist
I
John
invoke
Thomas.
the Fifth Amendment. This is really ridiculous.
The witness talks very loud when he makes a speech, but when he invokes the Fifth Amendment, I can't hear it.
I have medals for diction. I can talk plenty loud.
Will you talk a little louder?
I invoke the Fifth Amendment loudly.
Sir, who are Mr. and Mrs. Vladimir
I
Mikiev?
invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Do you know Manning Johnson?
I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Do you know Gregory Kifitz?
I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Do you know a Max Jurgen?
I invoke the Fifth Amendment.
Max Jurgen.
Why don't you have these people here to be cross-examined? Could I ask whether this is legal?
This is not only legal, but usual. By unanimous vote, this committee has been instructed to perform this very distasteful task.
To whom am I talking?
You're speaking to the chairman of the committee.
Mr. Walter?
Yes,
The Pennsylvania Walter?
that is right.
Representative of the steel
That
workers?
is right.
And the coal mining workers?
That is right.
Not United States Steel by any chance. A great patriot.
That is right.
You are the author of the bills that are going to keep all kinds of decent people out of the country.
No, only your kind.
Colored people like myself. And you would let in the Teutonic Anglo-Saxon stock.
We are trying to make it easier to get rid of your kind, too.
You don't want any colored people to come in. Could I be allowed to read from my statement?
Will you just tell this committee, please, while under oath, Mr. Robeson, the communists who participated in the preparation of that statement?
Oh, please.
Hold it right there. So what you have here is June 12th, 1956. We ain't got into the Black Power movement just yet. We still itching through the communistic era of the 40s and the 50s.
I hope they like that.
Man, that shit go in. I wish I had all day with it because we can come back to that though.
Oh,
I'm gonna put that.
that's part of that.
Sure.
That's part of that Hollywood show that we were doing. We never got that far though. See,
I'm already
okay, but that's just a taste.
go ahead.
That's just a taste for those out there that are concerned that think we don't cover every base.
Oh, we
in this
covering
whole
them all.
movie.
We gonna get it all. See, what y'all really have to get a clear view that you can't get out of some of these power networks that's out here is they don't break down these paradigms and they don't line up who's who and what's what and what were they trying to achieve. Now, I cannot thus far put a name on someone representing the communist perspective who's fighting for nationalism. I don't know. Does it work that way? Do you got a name for us, Blaqink?
Hey man, that's integration, and you can hear clearly that the people up there on the panel questioning the brother were quite indignant, and finally came out and just told him, the chairman's like, we don't want your kind here. You know, in other words, the cat was out the bag at that point, and dude had him, but it shows you why they went to such lengths to destroy him personally.
Oh yeah,
because that he was speaking.
He tried to, on the color issue. He tried to make it a color issue. Was it a color issue?
To some degree, it was a color issue, but in the bigger picture, it had nothing to do with color whatsoever. It had everything to do with ideology and political type of leanings. You know, it was called the Red Scare, but they were using him as an example. And as a matter of fact, man, it's deep because they used Jackie Robinson, the baseball player, to come in and refute Paul Robinson to be like a good Negro, an integrationist versus an extreme integrationist. Paul Robeson's version of integration was to integrate not only the people with full citizenship, black people, but to integrate the political ideology of the socialist communist movement into the black people.
Okay, so let me add some stock to that barrel, right? Now we're going to jump back years before. And we're going to take the black face off of it. And now we're going to put a Jew face on it. What up to all my Jews? Drop about 100 racks on me. We're about to go in on y'all asses. Check this out. This is the Hollywood 10 going through the same blacklist, but the fight started with them and moved on over to the black folks. Same shit.
At home, Americans feared red subversion. Congress revived the House Committee on Un-American Activities. In 1947, the committee investigated Hollywood, factory of America's imagination.
Ever observed any communistic information in any scripts?
Well, I've turned down quite a few scripts because I thought they were tinged with communistic ideas. They haven't attempted to use me, I don't think, because apparently they know that I'm not very sympathetic to communism. There has been a small group within the Screen Actors Guild which has consistently opposed the policy of the Guild board and officers or the Guild itself as evidenced by the vote on various issues. That small clique has been referred to, has been discussed as more or less following the tactics that we associate with the Communist Party.
If I had my way about it, they'd all be sent back to Russia or some other unpleasant place.
Ten witnesses, the Hollywood 10, defied the committee's right to ask about their beliefs.
Are you a member of the Communist Party? Or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
It's unfortunate and tragic that I have to teach this committee the basic principles of Americanism.
That's not the question. The question is, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I'm framing my answer in the only way in which any American citizen can frame his
Then
answer
you
to
deny,
the question
then you,
which invades his, absolutely invades
then
his
you
right.
deny, you refuse to answer that question. Is that correct?
I have told you that I will remember my beliefs, my affiliations, and everything else to the American public, and they will know where I stand, as they do from what I have written.
Stand away from the stand.
For Americanism for many years, and I
stand away from the stand.
Fight for the Bill of Rights, which
I'll
is going to be
stand away from the stand.
Others from the film industry demonstrated their support for the constitutional rights of the 10.
Are you or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
I believe I have the right to be confronted with any evidence which supports this question. I should like to see what you have.
Oh, well, you would.
Yes.
Well, you will pretty soon. The witness is excused.
Either. Boom. Okay, I just want to drop this real quick, Blaqink. See, this is a build-up that I could go even back further on, where it go all the way back to J. Edgar Hoover. It goes all the way back to W.E.B. This shit go deep.
Well, hold on, Blair. I just want to point out about that committee, and not by coincidence, that two of the main characters that played side roles were none other than Richard Nixon and Robert Kennedy.
Drop that heat. Drop that heat. Don't leave us with a freebie for the nifty.
Well, as you can see from the proceedings, you know, they were on the side of the government going after these people individually. But it has to, you can see from there where their political careers ended up in very high places.
So see, in some kind of way, when the Black Panthers started their march from the college campuses, they didn't have no money. But once these Jews understood the paradigm they was kicking, they was excited. We had Jane Fonda. Couldn't wait to get her fit in the pan. Start funding the black man. You know how they do us. They'll ruin us trying to do us. But see, they was pushing the narrative that for 20 years prior to the Panthers had all of this going on in the committees. The Hollywood 10, then over to Paul Robinson, and I could pull 1,000 more names that had to go through the chambers of hell.
Here's another one. Mr. Harry Belafonte is on that Spring Guard list.
Oh, I know he is.
And he had to go. He had to go before that committee too.
Of course he did. Now, see, in the aspect of the civil rights, there's a lot of communist perspectives fighting for that. For integration, there was a lot of communists fighting for that. Everybody want to sit at the table of America. They want to walk on the backs of the black man. But what did the black man start off fighting for coming out of slavery? Well, the popular ones, somebody like Nat Turner. Well, he's a little bit too far back. Let's move up a little bit to Martin Delany, a true black nationalist. He wouldn't have made that list. He'd have been sitting next to Garvey. He's been posted up with Booker T. He'd have been fighting for a preliminary government, not for more civil rights in an integrated society. Why did you lie to me? I couldn't find a trace of equality. Y'all try to work us like some slaves as you laid back. Blaqink don't play that. You know, we get a little hyped up over here, Blaqink. We got to drop a few rhymes on them to break it up. Brother man.
Yeah, I know, because we done went from the teenage girl rocking the stem to Mars, to Booker T, to Paul Robeson, to the Hollywood 10.
You know, hey, but it's all connected because, see, the aim is to give these people the paradigm. There are two sides to the coin. So if we say, let's take two colors, blue and red, they always seem to be opposed. Democrat, Republican, blood and Crip, all that type of shit, right? So let's assume that the red represent all the ideas, Marxism, socialism, civil rights, integration, all of that. Then over here on the blue side, we got nationalism, we got black power, economic control of your environment. Let me make sure I drop a definition after that word, right? And then you start picking names and say, we're going to put you on one side or the other, brother. What do you believe in? Now, you either are fighting for nationalism for freed slaves, or you're fighting for equality in integration for freed slaves. You got one or the other way to go. Now, we know, according to history, that there has never been a conquered people who are freed from their captives, who are allowed to have equal justice among their captives. It don't work that way. You got to hit the flow booking. So when you walk these names that we give you, start building your list. Either you determine that they're fighting ultimately for integration, regardless of a here or there. You got to look at their entire life, see where they really push the line. Or they're fighting for nationalism. Some of your favorite guys are going to fall on the integration side when you figure it all out. And then you're going to have to say to yourself, why in the hell are all my favorite guys on the integrationist side if I claim to be a nationalist? Or if you would like to see black people achieve a nationalist view or even economic control of their environment within an integrated situation. You have to come back. That's why we played the STEM. That's why we started with the STEM. Because if you can achieve that, you start to get the building blocks. See, this that heat Sinetta don't want to let me on his platform with. So I told him, call out your whole fan base, Sinetta. I'll let you niggas ask one question at a time. I'll knock that shit down off the top of my head. I memorized this shit. I put it on Memorex. But this shit is real, y'all. This is real history. You're gonna never hear this shit playing on their channels like this unless they sneaking in and peeking at Blaqink and the DPB and the CRTs rocking hard over here. Give me just another month. Watch and see the shit I unveil on y'all.
Well, the whole point of that STEM lesson at the beginning, from my perspective, is to just show everybody that this is way bigger than the conscious community. This is a worldwide operational system that works and is taking us to the highest heights of civilization in all those areas, in science, because yesterday was the World Science Day. Millions of people came out in every state, every country, all over the world to promote science, which is the cornerstone of STEM itself. It begins with science, then technology, then engineering, and then mathematics. And that includes everyone. They were celebrating it yesterday. So we're drawing from what they call current events up to the moment news about this very paradigm that you are bringing forth to the conscious community. It's not a fluke. It's not a game. It's not a hustle. It's real life. You can't escape it. It's like the girl said at the beginning part of that whole the Democracy Now! Clip, the first girl, right? The Indian girl. She was like, oh, if you're on the phone, on a computer, watch a flat screen, in a car, computer technology runs all of that. Welcome to the future.
Right. You ain't going nowhere without this. And see, I'm trying to tell you guys that there was a group of people nicknamed the Talented 10th who got behind WEB and Trotter and the Niagara movement right about that time, also created the Boule and all of those Greek fraternity groups that we all love and have come to love over the years, and that we have all integrated into the system and have totally lost focus of what the hell happened to us. And we lost it. We was on our way to building a black MIT. That's what we was on our way to doing. When they killed Booker T. Washington, they stuck in an agent from the Navy, a doctor, switched the whole game up and took us in a different direction. And now Tuskegee of old is a memory, and this new shit ain't it. And they can't compete on a technological level. They can't compete. They underfunded. The area is turned into a zombie land with a few pumpkins growing in the patches. It's got less buildings on it today than it did in 1915 when the man passed away. It's a goddamn shame we let the integrationist blacks rule the trap. Now you all trapped. And you're sitting there worried about how you can stop the police from killing your kids in the neighborhood. You can't stop them if you don't have control of the environment. You're a victim. You're a victim of the circumstance. It's a hard life. Blaqink, what you think?
Man, I was just over here flipping through this one book looking for an example of Booker T early experimentation in film. He was actually trying to make what they called at the time race movies, and he was doing it at Tuskegee, but I got to find the actual document. Okay, here we
I
go.
remember something like that.
Here we go. And I'm reading from the book called Toms, Coons, Mulattoes, Mammies, and Bucks, An Interpretive History of Blacks in American Films by Donald Bogle. He's an expert at the movies and our different biscuits that we played, meaning roles, that is. Okay, so let's see here. So this is reading from chapter 4. It's a little small, short little reading. In Chicago, as early as 1912, a black man named William Foster produces a series of all-black comedies. ... The scholarly secretary of Booker T. Washington sets out to make a Negro accomplishment movie by turning out a prodigious flop, yet fathers a movement. So I'm gonna just stop right there and see what else it says about Booker T on the next page. Yeah, go ahead.
I gotta hit Rock. We're gonna let Harold Cruz spit a little bit.
Go ahead with it.
This is out of the book, The Crisis of the Negro Intellectual. They're gonna get a lot of book.
I just found the line about Booker T right here.
Drop it, brother.
All right. Around 1914, Biograph Pictures in New York released A Natural-Born Gambler with Burt Williams, the black star of the Ziegfeld Follies. Soon there emerged the idea of using such a star to reach a new kind of audience, a black one. Then there appeared a mild-mannered scholarly man named Emmett J. Scott. At one time, the secretary of Booker T. Washington, Scott set his sights on making a major black film. After the release of The Birth of a Nation, a number of American blacks hoped to produce a short film to cite the accomplishments of colored America to counterattack to Griffith's alleged racist propaganda. So that's pretty much the connection of Booker T to early film through Emmett J. Scott.
Okay, now let me give you a little Harold Cruz synopsis. I'm just going to read a paragraph. And he's talking about the rejected strain. He says, historically, this rejected strain, as Theodore Draper described it, emerged simultaneously with its opposite, integration strain. Although the word integration was not then in the Negro vocabulary as a synonym for civil rights or freedom, the prototype leader of the later strain was Frederick Douglass, the great Negro abolitionist, and there is almost a direct line of development from him to the NAACP and the modern civil rights movement. However, the rejected or national strain that exists today can be traced back to a certain Negro spokesman to a certain Negro spokesman who were Douglass contemporaries, but who are now barely remembered. Martin R. Delaney, Edward Blyden, Alexander Cromwell, Henry M. Turner, and George Washington Williams, Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, on the other hand, are all well known for the average Negro as historical personalities. Now, he just gave you the same line up, and he's showing you. You got a connection between Frederick Douglass, the NAACP, W.D. Du Bois, the so-called Pan-Africanists, all the way up to Martin Luther King and your integration program. So now you have to you could go further back, but you got to kind of start at the abolitionist movement when black folks started some sort of rebellion. And then you got to start spreading these names and ideologies and lining up and building up your bloodlines of ideology. Because once you got the ideology down packed and you know who's who and what's what and what ideology mean what and what leads you where, you can look at the groups today and you can clearly understand who on that bullshit and who keeping it 100. And it's just that real. And people hate for you to bring this shit out because they goddamn favorites is on the wrong list.
Yeah,
I get a lot of slack for this shit.
You know when somebody's in front of the life coach, I think her name's Ayala Banzan or something, and you know she's that hardcore sister that just gives it to you straight. When she started out, she would make people take a legal pad and say, okay, now I want you to write the list of everything good you feel about yourself on one side of the page and everything bad you feel about yourself on the other side of the page. And usually one list would be really long and the other one would be really short. And I'm just leave it at that. So the integration team has a whole host of all-stars over the years that just, it would be pages, reams, books of the integrationist heroes.
Some audience feedback. Do you guys want to get into this integrationist list? It's a whole nother conversation. It is a lot of good stuff going on over there, but it's always mixed in with the bullshit, no matter what. No matter how good it appears, before you can really scratch the middle of your back, you got an itch on the top of your neck. That shit don't stop. Do y'all want to hear that shit? If you want us to dig as we move, not today in today's show, but that we could go put the study lesson together to bring it back to you and show you how it worked. Or do you understand what we're talking about? Put a 2 if you understand. Put a 1 if you want us to investigate. Somebody holler at your boy. I see about 500 people watching. You know how we do it. When my channel gonna blow up for going in? They not ready. They not ready. Blaqink, you back there getting your hip rocks together?
Hey man, I tell you what, like this. Anybody in the chat that wants us to go in on Hollywood and the Coonan and the Toms and show you the exact roles, what they are, and then transfer it over to the conscious community and you fill in the blanks, press a 3 up in that chat. Now, let's see what they say. But anyway.
Well, you know, some of our CRT all-stars is chiming in. They want a 1 and a 2.
Okay.
We want you to give it to them all, but we're going to do it because it's a must, though. Okay. I need some of them 70%ers who don't ever subscribe to my channel. I need y'all to chime on in so we can spot you.
A lot of them don't never comment. They just kick back and take notes. And so,
yeah, I understand that. You know, they work at schools and various things where they can't be seen on the scene. Stay in the shadows. We'll teach you in the shadows.
But yeah, man, we could bust down on that spin guard list. It's been a long time coming, bro.
Man, that spin guard list gonna cause so much controversy. I'm tell you. Especially when you crack the egg on it and you hear it sizzling like that old commercial. This is your brain on drugs. And they drop it. That's how that shit gonna sizzle. I'm trying to tell you. That shit go in so hard. When I uncovered it years ago, I fell out the chair. I was like, oh shit. What just happened? What's that one actor, brother? You covered him in your flow. You covered him in your flow, but God, he did the first slap on television.
Oh, your boy Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, you know I got love for Sidney Poitier, but he high on the goddamn list.
He's a Spring Guard medal winner, brother. I mean, man, he some of his most famous roles, besides, you know, all black people like when, you know, a nigga slap an old white man on TV or the movie. It's like, I finally got it in. Yeah, good for him. But he played the ultimate integrationist in Hollywood. He was the first black man to win the Academy Award. He played in the movie Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which was like the first movie to show a black man and a white woman actually going to have an interracial marriage. But the dude had to be like the super out doctor that was with the United Nations, and he had respect in every country in the world, and he had found a cure to cancer, some shit like that, for him to be actually acceptable to the white girl's family.
Now let me do this, brother. Let me show you how hard it hurts. Muhammad Ali, which side of the fence?
Hey man, he's not on the spring guard list, but he's integrationist, brother. At the end of the day.
Oh, God damn, Hammer don't hurt him. I love him though. See, this is what I'm saying about that side of the fence. It's like some of your favorites are over there. You be like, what the fuck are you doing over here? I thought you was on the home team. Nah, man. Nah, man. It's rough out here. That's what they tell you. It's rough out here, man. I'm just trying to feed my kids. Like, damn, do we all gotta starve so your family can eat? I guess so. See, this is how rough it is. That's why I tread lightly, because when we get to chopping down your heroes, turning them into zeros, y'all gonna be like, Pitt hate everybody. Blaqink don't think. Y'all gonna be hot. But I'm telling you, it's a sad thing to uncover. It's miserable to understand how super cold they operate the system. This is why you put into a headlock, can't get out. Your heroes are over there integrating, meditating while they motivate. It's rough, man. I didn't think you was gonna be able to say it, Blaqink. I knew you knew. I didn't know you was gonna be able to pull the courage to say it.
Well, it's like asking, is the Nation of Islam integrationist or nationalist? You answered that one, Pit Boss. Farrakhan and everything.
Oh man, don't make me do it. Don't make me go there. I'm gonna have to do it from Garvey's perspective. Garvey told him, we follow Christ, we're Christians. You follow Muhammad, you are Mohammedans. The Nation of Islam does a lot of great work, just as a lot of integrationists do a lot of great work. The other day, L. Ron Hubbard didn't park the goddamn chair in the temple. And that would conclude that organization thus far is following Martin Luther King into the burning building. Integrationists by Pit Boss calculations. Integrationists. Hate me. Hate the goddamn information. Don't hate me. I ain't make it up. I just gave it up. Game came up. Goddamn Blaqink threw a bomb at me. Made me go all the way live on this shit. It's all good, though.
Okay, let me just give him a little preview of the spin guard list. It started in 1915 up to today, and it's the NAACP's biggest award to the greatest Negro integrationists of that year, in their opinion. So in 1920, you got W.E.B. Du Bois himself. Now in 1923, here you go. This is arguable, Pit Boss. George Washington Carver. James Weldon Johnson. Carter G. Woodson. Who else? Gonna keep going. Mary McLeod Bethune, John Hope posthumously, Walter White, Marian Anderson, Richard Wright, A. Philip Randolph, Charles Drew, Paul Robeson, Thurgood Marshall, Ralph Bunche, Paul R. Williams, that architect, Jackie Robinson, Martin Luther King Jr., Miss Daisy Bates and the Little Rock Nine, Duke Ellington, Langston Hughes, Medgar Evers, Roy Wilkins, Leontine Price, John Johnson, Ebony Magazine, Sammy Davis Jr., Gordon Parks, Hank Aaron, Alvin Ailey, Alex Haley, Rosa Parks, Lena Horne, Tom Bradley, Bill Cosby, Benjamin Hooks, Percy Sutton, Jesse Jackson, Colin Powell, Barbara Jordan, Dorothy Height, Maya Angelou, Earl Graves, Oprah Winfrey, Vernon Jordan, John Lewis, John Conyers, Ruby Dee, Julian Bond, Cicely Tyson, Harry Belafonte, Quincy Jones, and the latest one, Mr. Sidney Poitier. How you like that list?
Now let me tell you, let me go back though to that George Washington Carver. Because I studied it deeply. I was kind of concerned when I seen his name hit that list. So here was the breakdown that I was able to conclude. One, he got picked for agriculture. And in that particular year, he reinvented the cotton industry. It was almost insurpassable that he couldn't win the award. And it's a very shaky slope. Also, Booker T is long gone. And a new wave is in the building. So now Tuskegee is now part of the integrated family.
Yeah, you're right. It says here, head of the Department of Research and director of the Experiment Station of Tuskegee Institute. They gave him the award for researching agricultural chemistry. So it lines up.
Now, most of the others are on the list for literary arts, acting, dancing, civil rights. Most of them are on there for civil rights. Their fight in the civil rights movement, or some sort of acting, or some sort of, you know.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Right.
Oh,
I put on that list. I spent a year on that list. I never spoke about it, but I got well over a year driving that list and every goddamn name on that list and trying to understand it. I wasn't just trying to come out and smash nothing. I was trying to understand something.
Well, yeah, if you look at the NAACP itself, it's all about integration. That's you know, so that's why I said they give these awards out to the biggest integrationist of that year, or who had it's like a lifetime achievement award for your body of work and integration efforts.
There you go. Yeah, if you guys are not aware of it, if you never learned that in your college courses, you know, it's because you went to school for programming. So all you college graduate programmed into society. You guys say from the RBGs and the Kemetic community and the atheist community, and all the Bible hating perspectives among us, you guys are sharing that the Bible enslaved us. I ask you this question: is integration slavery? Is it a form of slavery? If so, who in the hell is fighting for it though? And why? And are they using Bible narrative to push the paradigm? I think not. This is why I make these accusations that these YouTube characters, these fake Pan-Africanists all over YouTube. Now, I don't know about every one of y'all who out there, what you call doing the work, that doesn't appear on the screen. I don't know how you guys get down, but from what we get to see, who comes on chiming in with the red, black, and green earrings and the African Bambaataa sweatshirts, where they always sweat work, talking about this nationalism while they bang on the Bible like fools because they're asleep. They're not repping righteousness. They repping consciousness, conscious that they dead goddamn broke. And when we say dead broke, we talking about your equity. Your equity is broke. It's a hard pill to swallow when we give you this horse pill. It's rough. So I appreciate those who chimed in today. Gigi dropped us in with a good note. I can't believe how she just keep coming. The love that just keeps on loving. The give that just keeps on giving. Grind and rise keeps on giving. The great Negroologist keeps on giving. Living Soul Journey, Cause, Blaqink, Zeus Flippy. Who else we got riding? Surfing Tangent all the way in London, getting it in. I appreciate y'all who make notice of yourselves to come on. We're a smaller channel than most, but we drop more heat than them all. We let Blaqink get a last word in, and then we're going to let y'all do what it do.
Hey, much love and appreciation, respect to everybody out there listening, soaking up this information, working with us to build a new foundation throughout creation. Peace.
Close your eyes, let that rhythm get into you. Don't try to find it, there ain't nothing that you can do. Relax your mind, lean back and groove with mine. You gotta feel that heat, and we can ride a boogie, share that beat of love. I wanna run with you all night. Did you get today? I wanna run with you all night. Gonna rock the night away. Do you remember the time when I fell in love? Do you remember the time when we first met? Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time? Remember my baby. Do you remember, girl? On the phone, you and me. Till 2, till 3, for the rest. Better than that. This place is Heartbreak Hotel. Welcome to Heartbreak Hotel. Dancing, dancing, dancing. Oh, baby, move me, baby. Automatic, systematic, full of color, self-contained. Show that gentle to your vibes. Captivating, stimulating, sexy, sexy lady. Filled with space age design. Yeah. You know what? Keep on with the 4 stars. Don't stop till you get enough. Keep on with the 4 stars. Don't stop till you get enough. I'ma say it one more time, I'ma go side. I'ma say it one more time, I'ma go side. I'ma say it one more time, I'ma go side. I'ma say it one more time, I'ma go side. So good tonight. Gonna need a gun to find up on the shelf. And just enjoy yourself. Come on and groove, girl. Let's sing the music, get together. Life ain't so bad at all. You leave it off the wall. Leave life off the wall. Leave it off the wall. Where did you come from, lady? And won't you take me there right away? Won't you bring me in the room and you got to be? Spark my name, sugar fly me. Don't you know now is the perfect time? We can dim the lights just to get it right. And in the night, if the love is fine, let me take you to the max. I want to love you. You need some loving to the loving care, and I'll take you there, take you there, and never. All I got to say is that I must be dreaming. You can't be real. You're not here with me. Still, I can feel you near me. Oh, man, I caress you, let you taste us, let the place for things. I would give you anything, babe. Just make my dream come true. Oh, baby, give me that. I just want to kiss, and I wish could be with you tonight. You give me butterflies inside, and I looking in my mirror took me by surprise. I can't help but see you running off into my mind, helpless like a baby. Heaven is the prize, and I'm so glad I found you, girl. You're an angel in disguise. I can't help it if I wanted to, whatever, even if I could. I can't help it if I wanted to, whatever, no. I can't help it if I wanted to, whatever, even if I could. Can't help it if I wanted to, whatever, no. Da 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 da.
Thank you very, very much for your support. This is Digital Pitt Boss. Good night.